Are you guys all like weed guys?
I'm glad it's legal. Yeah.
I don't identify that way, but yes.
I do not want to identify as a weed guy. That's embarrassing.
Are you like a weed guy?
I'm straight edge. This is lavender.
That's lavender. No, he's a big weed guy.
I see.
Are you?
I'm not a weed guy. I'm like kind of anti-weed. I'm like very cringe about it, to be honest.
Really? So you're anti-weed? That's where I was not long ago. Call it 5 years ago.
I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but in my personal life, I've not found anything productive from it. It makes me very lazy and annoying.
So I'm curious. When I was anti-weed for me. Like, you could smoke as much as you want. I had no judgment, or I was certainly pro legal weed. I just didn't want it in me. Is that where you are, or would you make it illegal again? Like, what do you think?
I would never make it illegal. I think people should be able to do what they want, but I personally am like really. I'm 21, so I'm like relatively young.
That is
like
young.
I've seen a lot of like people destroy their shit from weed. Like smart kids with good opportunities just like sink into weed as like a coping mechanism for their issues and just like become fucking losers. And I'm like afraid of that, so I'm trying to like not be a big substance guy. I mean, I'll drink now and then, but the weed is just like I think weed is fine. There's a lot of people who like are fine on it, you know. Mr. Joe Rogan, okay, he's fine. But I feel like it's like, I don't know, it's kind of destructive. I feel like it's almost too accepted for a lot of people.
I've seen people get on anti-anxiety meds, and then when they do, suddenly they're like more okay with bad grades. They're more okay with low performance. They're just less stressed about all the problems. Is the mortgage due? It's going to be okay.
That's what like the weed is like a Rick and Morty nihilism thing for a lot of people.
I feel like the weed, there's a parallel there to what I just described with did I say antidepressants? I did. I'm going for the SRIs type. Anti-anxiety was one. Yeah.
So anti-anxiety.
When you take like Lexapro or something, suddenly you're not killing yourself to like get ahead at work, solve all your problems, etc. You're just okay with where you are, and that can be a negative. Like anxiety is what pays the fucking mortgage.
Yeah,
I never considered that of Lexapro or something like that. I'm not disputing it. I know I hated Lexapro. It just felt like I was numbed out. I was only taking it as part of my legal defense. I swear to God, like, and as soon as it became like a non-thing, I quit cold turkey. You're not supposed to, and it was one of the worst things I've ever done. It really was awful coming off of Lexapro. It was awful.
What was like
I have two. Well, I want to cover what you're talking about. First, what's it like to get off, and what's it like to be on?
I would have being on it just felt kind of like being numbed out. Like you're kind of in the doldrums where nothing can be great and nothing can be terrible. Everything can just kind of be okay, or flavors of okay.
So there's no joy.
Yeah, no exuberance. Certainly, you're not like having that. Like, I remember I was playing PUBG at the time, and I wasn't being as happy with my victories. I was like, I just won one. Why am I not having a meltdown over this? I usually I'm not great at this game. I don't win a lot of these. And but coming off of it, not only did I just feeling weird, just sort of, I don't know, this almost felt like a stomach cramp that went all the way to the back of my spine and into my brain or something like that. Just felt queasy all the time when I was coming off of it. But the real thing was I had these sort of electrical shocks that I would feel in my brain. And like, it would be like you sort of slip into if you slip into like a daydream or something, you're just kind of, just for a second, maybe you're waiting on like a door to open or the car to get washed or something. And then when I would come out of it, it would be with this start of like being frightened and startled. And then also like an electrical pain in my goddamn head. And I was like, what is this? And I'm like Googling it. And it's like, yeah, this is cold turkey Lexapro. And then there's 2 paragraphs of don't go off Lexapro cold turkey. And I'm like 6 days after my last pill. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not going back. Back. We're not turning the car around.
My friend got off Lexapro more slowly than you. Like, he lowered his dose, and he had the same symptom now. So
on the weed thing, like, I do agree with you, Tom, that there is almost a cultural push to be like, well, it's not alcohol, it's not cocaine, it must be totally harmless, and you can do it all day, every day, and that's fine. Like,
it's natural. It's a plant. right?
Natural.
Every plant, everything that's ever come from Earth is fine to eat, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's natural. Arsenic's natural. Stop using that as your argument.
Everything is mostly from plants. Like, but it's like if you allow yourself.
But weed comes out of the ground like that. Can we just agree on that? It's like you don't have to do anything
denying it comes from the ground.
Yeah.
I'm just
arsenic
saying,
doesn't jump out of the ground. Like, is that a piece of?
Wait, doesn't it?
Gotta, like,
I thought arsenic did exist naturally.
Well, I don't know.
We got to get a whole bunch of it, purify
from.
it right, and then melt all the good arsenic down and filter out the dirt and like make
it
vial
cobra
of it.
venom then. Cobra venom's natural. It just comes from snakes.
Regardless of that, like
that'll get you very high.
If you're using,
go to heaven.
I feel this in myself in that like if I smoke weed or anything like that, while I still have anything at all to do for the day, whether it's this or something else, like it will make me uncomfortable where I'll be like, fuck, like, why did I do that? Like now I'm high. I still have to do what I was going to do. I'm more likely to blow off my workout. I'm more likely to procrastinate on something that I need to get done. But if I smoke at like the end of the evening when everything's sewn up and handled for the day, I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice and relaxing. I'm enjoying this. But like, there are a lot of people out there who are using it 24/7, wake and baking every day, all the time. And maybe some people can handle it, but I know I cannot. And I know the vast majority of people cannot. And in that way, like it is going to do what Woody said and make you content with complacency. And that can be dangerous over time.
The only way you can do it is if you make a list. Like before, like I'll wake up and I'll take a shower. And I'll figure out what I've got to do today. Usually it's like 3 or 4 errands or something. I got to go to Lowe's and get some screws and bolts to put a fucking thing together. And then the gutter fell down on the side of the house. And I need a new rake. And it's like, I'll make my goddamn list before I smoke. But because if I don't have that list, I won't just forget that I needed a new rake. I'll forget why I needed it.
You're not selling what you need to rake.
You've got to treat your smoking like a disability and prepare for it. You know, you have to have your list, just like you need your wheelchair by the bed in the morning if you're going to get up and get stuff done.
Taylor, you mentioned Coke. I think like broadly, societally speaking, like Coke is probably less destructive than weed because weed is just so common. Like everyone's
crack cocaine counterpoint.
Well, Coke is like at least lawyers are doing it. They're getting stuff done, you know?
Yeah, finance people, lawyers, skinny, attractive bitches.
Oh my God. Crack? Don't get me started.
Yeah. Get the nice bodies, those bodies.
Girls who like do Coke and smoke cigarettes. Holy shit. Let's go.
All stemmed up. Bad teeth. Yeah,
just
better blowjobs.
Foul breath.
Yeah,
the fewer the teeth, the better the blowjob.
Cigarette and Coke breath.
After you stick your dick in their mouth, you don't even want to be within like 100 yards of your own dick. It's just completely disgusting. Foul.
Yeah, they're the dried spit.
You need to fucking throw it in the washing machine for like a year.
Your cocaine gives you terrible breath, and obviously cigarettes do.
I didn't know cocaine gave you bad breath.
Yeah, like dries you out and it's all chemically. I don't know. It must be just a bad breath compound in the cocaine, something like that. Kyle, your audio isn't coming in. But yeah, I appreciate that perspective because you don't get that much anymore. Where so many people are so many people are all in on like it's not even a drug, man, and it's like no, it's a drug, and if you can't handle it or you allow it to make you lazy. And you don't get shit done, like that compounds. And a day becomes a week, becomes a month, becomes a year. And before you know it, like you've wasted valuable time. So use it responsibly, folks. Use it responsibly.
I feel like emotionally it's like bad. Like I know people who like as a coping mechanism, they like use weed to just like forget their issues. And it's like, I feel like there's just such an anti-stress thing now. It's like a little stress is okay. Like you shouldn't, I feel like a healthy mix between like no stress and then like wanting to kill yourself with stress, like somewhere in the middle is probably where you should be.
Yeah, but that's like that's the productivity zone.
There's being stressed about like paying your bills, and then there's being stressed about that time you forgot your underwear in gym in the 3rd grade and the 8th grade, and you're like, fucking why did I do that? And you're like that's.
But some people have that, and then they just like smoke weed. That's bad.
Yeah, my friend that was on Lexapro.
What do you do? Just raw dog life?
Yeah.
You got a raw dog, man.
No.
my friend was telling me somebody flipped him the bird while driving, right? So you probably experienced this sometime in your life. He would like perseverate on it. That means like to think about it nonstop. And just like it was spinning in his head, spinning. What did I do? Man, that guy hates me. Fuck. Like I
It's like some fucking random
maybe
guy
I
I'll
did
never see
fuck up,
again.
right?
Yeah.
This isn't a stranger he'll never see again who flipped him the bird over either a driving accident or a misunderstanding, or I've been flipped the bird and I maintain I was right sometimes. And also I've been wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't sit there and think about it 3 days later and discuss it with my friends to get like
When's the last time you flipped it? When's the last time you flipped off someone in traffic?
Oh, I don't do that anymore. I do something else.
Me either. I give him the toodaloo. You on the toodaloo crowd?
No.
Are you a thumbs up man?
Thumbs down. Thumbs
I-
down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually-
If they do something awful, I'm like,
I give him the toodaloo.
okay.
I think I did it like 2 weeks ago.
The bird.
Yeah, I flipped someone the bird because we were taking it was a left on a green light, and it's one of those lights at a busy intersection that, like, if I don't get through this left green, I'm going to be late to the place I'm going, not because I'm bad with time management, but because of the person in front of me solely. And they like didn't pay attention. I had to give them a little beep, like a little courteous beep honk, like, hey, you're looking down at your phone and there's 100 yards of space in front of you. And then they like accelerated slower than I can jog, and I'm not quick. And they went through a red, and there was no chance I could get through at that point. And so I flipped him the bird, like, fuck you, you inconsiderate piece of shit. And afterward I was like, man, that's not how you want to behave at 30.
I always get road rage at the rotaries, with like the 2-lane rotaries. Those are fucking brutal. And like when I'm driving in Boston, like I think crazy shit. I'm like, I'm gonna get on and fucking fight him and pull the car open. I'm like, I never do it, but I just I get so mad getting cut off by like trucks. I'm like so angry.